allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Do we have any comments, questions, or modifications?
Got a couple modifications for you, Mr. Skipper.
Okay.
First off, under proposed consent agenda, letter B, I need to remove or ask the board to remove Mr. Early and Ms. Nolt from the consent agenda.
Okay.
And for the record, I want you to notice under 2025-26 school year calendar approval, through a mistake that I made, we sent the wrong calendar to the board for approval. We've been down this road a few times, so the only thing that is up for discussion is the date of spring break. So the spring break, is, you will notice, is listed on your draft document as being finished on the 3rd of April. And we're actually making a recommendation to the board for spring break to be the 6th through the 10th of April, the first full week.
Okay.
And that is the changes to the agenda that I have.
All right, any other comments or questions on the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the modified agenda.
I'll move to approve the modified agenda.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. With that, we'll move on to delegations. Mr. Peterson.
Thank you. I've got Micah Wilson here. He's been here a few times, but that's always a good thing. So Mr. Wilson is going to step up and introduce some FFA members to give us a heads up on some competitions and other things that have happened since the last time he was here.
I think these ladies have some information for you, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. So, ladies.
Here, I got some handouts for you guys.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Hello there, I'm Jalen Wilson and I'm currently our chapter's treasurer. Hello, I'm Peyton Henderson and I'm currently serving as our chapter's secretary.
Hi, I'm Emma Kelso and I'm currently serving as our chapter's president. This year we have done tons of activities all over Eastern Washington. 4 of them, we actually went to State Fork. It was for ag sales, first year member, tractor driving, and potato judging.
We've also been doing very other competitions such as ag ed, employment skills, prepared speaking, horse, dairy, and livestock evaluation, and ag math. Other than that, we also done some fun and other educational activities such as Teach Ag Day, Rangeland workshops, Construction Career Day, Cows Days, District 4 Corn Maze, Holiday Hustle, Bison Hikes, the Jamboree, and coming up shortly, Ag Day. Our members have also had the opportunity to show at at different livestock shows. Our chapter has shown goats, lambs, steers, and pigs.
And coming this May 21st, we will actually be having new officers elected, and it looks like they're very excited for the new year coming. Any questions for us, guys?
This is great. Thank you so much.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Sounds like you
Yeah.
guys have been very
Proud of
involved.
you guys. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right, any other delegations, Mr. Peterson?
That would be all. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the proposed consent agenda. Any comments or questions here?
Motion to approve the proposed consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, well, with that, we'll move on to item 6, public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening?
Yes.
Allow me to do my spiel real quick. I always wait until, make sure I'm not wasting my breath here. The board welcomes input from the community. Please follow the public comment procedure by stating your name at the podium when recognized by the chair. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. You'll hear a little chime off to your right. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the board is not allowed to discuss items not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise here in public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against any individual staff member or student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. In other words, please no student names or employees, or employee names. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had a lot for you guys, but my name was taken off the list and I will keep most of this to myself, but I do have
Can you start by stating your name?
my name is Ty Early. I'm the PE teacher at the elementary. So what I'm saying is I have an appeal and I want to make that open to everybody at the board to be there when Mr. Peterson assigns the date for that, because there are a lot of things in here that don't add up. Meaning I'm being treated as something that I'm not, a provisional employee, but I don't want to get too much into that. I do want to get into things that I've done in the past. So like last year at your guys's, at the exactly 1 year, 1 day ago, when I came up here and expressed my free speech, which I'm allowed to do. You guys talked about how you wanted more activity, recess and stuff like that involved in schools, and I was all for that. I spoke to him about that. I spoke to my principal about that many times. I ran an entire program last year through the school with 20 plus teachers where we incorporated adding activity to classes, and classes were rewarded for that. And I have hundreds of emails that are in my evaluation from last year that prove that. And I just want you to know that I am also all for improving activity that decreases student behavior. But I was met with basically, no, this isn't going to happen, and we're not going to do this and that and the other. And basically after I had been here, it honestly got worse, not better. With that, I guess I have 3 minutes. There's no time though. I just want to say that everything I've done has been for the kids, trying to help them get better. This decision, when you look up a seniority list and the people that ended up being non-renewed due to the RIF, 3 are at the bottom, and you climb up 15 and you find my name. I mean, a lot of things that I can say on that. I'm going to hold off on it for now, but it doesn't really seem to add up to a reasonable person that you just, because in most districts, it's last in, first out in a situation like this. And in our district, it's last in, first out, minus me. Let's go up the ladder, 15 people. For what reasons, I don't know. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Do we have any electronic?
No, sir.
With that, we'll move on to principal reports and start with elementary school. Something. Thank you.
March, we've had a couple things happen at the elementary school. So the last time I was here, we did talk about how we were gonna have an upcoming playground palooza, so we did have that. It was on March 27th, and approximately 250 students participated in that. So with that, we were able to reteach some of our playground expectations. We also reviewed some existing game rules and then introduced some new games on the playground to our students. We will be having our final 3 for 3 party on June 3rd, and currently we have 53 students who have received their tickets for that. And we will be having a splash bash. So we'll be doing another outside party that will involve water games and different things like that outside on the playground. We did have an art show and music concert that Mrs. Refko and Mr. Holloway helped put on. So we had students from TK through 5th grade put in some different art things for the exhibit in our NPR. And then we had a Beatles themed music concert, which was awesome. Both of them were just absolutely amazing. And so Mrs. Refko did an amazing job, and Mr. Holloway did an amazing job also. Mr. Holloway's son was part of our music concert, and then he plays in a band outside of school. And one of the guys that plays in the band played guitar also with us. And then one of the 5th graders had a drum solo. He actually changed some of the words to one of the songs to be about Kylie during the performance. So it just was awesome. So we're very thankful to them and the celebration of creativity and talent that they were able to put on and display for us. So it was awesome to see. We also had Ted Brown Music come for some band recruitment for our 5th and 6th graders. Because that's something that they'll be able to participate in next year. Thankfully, with Mr. Davison here, we're able to bring that back. And so 3 gentlemen from Ted Brown Music came to introduce some different instruments to our 4th and 5th graders. To just be able to kind of bring that excitement back. And then we had them fill out some paperwork about whether or not they wanted to be able to participate in band. And we've had some of those come back, not all of them, but we had about 180 students participate in that activity. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity to come back to them. And then we're getting ready for our ASB elections for next year. So our 4th graders have been through that kind of selection process, and they are getting their final kind of prep done for that. So they're in the process of making their posters and hanging them up throughout school. They've worked on their speeches and all of that. So we're going to have our assembly at the end of the month. So it's May 27th at 2. If anybody is interested in coming and seeing that, and then they'll be voting on our new ASB representatives after that. We have kindergarten graduation coming up. That will be June 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. You all are always invited, and we love having you guys there. So we're very excited for that. And then we have our field day, which isn't on here. I apologize for that, but we do have field day on June 4th, which is always a lot of fun for our kids. And that is throughout the entire day. And then everybody knows Teacher Appreciation was last week. So we're thankful for what KDEA did for our staff. And then there was stuff in the lounge throughout the week. And we're just very thankful to all of our teachers for everything they do and all of the support that they provide to our students and to our community. So thank you to all of them. So does anybody have any questions? No?
That's
All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. All right, now on to the middle school, Mr. Davidson. Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, good evening, President Skipper, members of the board, Superintendent Peterson. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Once again, like I always do at Kyvie Middle School, we want all kids to feel connected to the school, build powerful relationships, and envision their future. And like the elementary said, it has been a very busy March, April, and the beginning of May here. At the middle school, we have completed our SBA testing in ELA and math for all grades 6, 7, 8. We had a couple hitches, but nothing that we didn't recover from, and we only have a few makeups left. So we've tested almost 100% of our students. And we also ran our 8th grade science test. That's completed, and we're finishing up our spring math testing this week and a little bit of next week. We've got a lot of events that have either happened or they're coming up in May. Today, we actually had our ASB officer elections for the 25-26 school year. We had a great group of candidates apply and who ran for office, and they should all be commended for their courage. It's not easy as a middle school kid to put your name out in front of the entire school population. So I was really proud of them. Go Cubs. Spring sports are in full swing. Middle school seasons last a little longer than high school, so we still have quite a bit of our season left. We've got girls softball, boys baseball, boys soccer, and then boys and girls track. We had in March a glow dance / social. We have decided to open up these to 6th graders again, and not only just have a dance floor, but also an open gym area so kids can socialize and spread out into 2 different areas. And it's really been a big hit. And we've got another one coming up this Friday themed Tropical Paradise. It's going to be fantastic. Camp Wooten, 51st year. It is in full swing. We have 91 6th graders as of this afternoon with all of their stuff turned in. We are still making phone calls, trying to get as close to 100% participation as we can, but right now we're really happy with 91 out of 110. So we're getting there. There's always a few that don't get to go, but 91's a good number. And what a great group of teachers we have leading the way. Middle school could also not pull this off without coordination with district departments, transportation, food services. They're doing a fantastic job. And I would also like to personally thank all the high school students that applied for camp counselors. We have 30+ counselors going up with our 6th graders. And all of those juniors and seniors are going to help build memories for these 6th graders that will last them a lifetime. That's super exciting. May 15th, we've got the end of the year barbecue at the middle and high school. This will be my first experience with that, and I've heard it's all the rave. So, I don't know, if you see me out there with an apron flipping burgers, I guess I'll fit right in. May 23rd, we've got our big cave community service project day. It'll be 8 to 11. We have all of our students out there giving back to the community in one shape or another. I got to witness this a little bit last year driving around with Mr. Fepp, and this will be the first year where people will say, well, look at those little cubs out there. I wish I could take credit for it, but our cave advisors, they do all the legwork, so kudos to them. June 5th, we will have our 8th grade promotion ceremony and reception. It's going to be at 6 o'clock on June 5th. So we'll be there and send these 8th graders off into the high school land. As that next morning, we'll send them out of the gym and up to the high school as they do. I'm sure it's some kind of link crew event or assembly to welcome these incoming freshmen to the land of the bearers. So finally, I would just like to thank the board and the community for allowing me to serve this year in Kybee. I'm already looking forward to next year, so thanks a lot. It's been a good ride so far.
Good.
Awesome. Can you share what some of the community service projects are, or are those surprise?
No, I can. Can't, just when I put away my helpers. We've got a bike path cleanup, a lemonade stand, raising money for the food bank. We've got a group walking around town cleaning up trash. The group again is going down to the Benton City Food Bank to help clean, sort, and organize things. We've got a field day for the elementary students. So our students will be running games and things. I've got a group going over to the ECAP building to be buddies to the younger ones. We're sending a group to the Tri-Cities Animal Shelter. This is the group that typically would go to the pit bull pen, but that is not in existence anymore. So they're gonna head down to the Tri-Cities Animal Shelter. We've got a car wash. We've got one group going around helping teachers clean up in their classrooms, desks, scrubbing counters. Got some groups going down to be kindergarten buddy volunteers. One group is gonna build some benches to put it in the school somewhere, so that was kind of exciting. And then I think I may have mentioned the car wash. But that group will be donating proceeds to my friend's place. So it's a wide range of activities, and it's nice to see these kids feeling good about giving back.
Sounds like, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, Mr. Henry.
Yes, so as with everybody else, we've FDA testing, a lot of stuff going on. This year we were chosen, we're really happy that we are chosen for the PISA test. It's actually from my understanding, it's a worldwide test. They group different groups from around the world. I want to thank Mrs. Gillen for putting all that together. They actually canceled it, then they brought it back, and they literally come in and test a certain amount of kids that are 15 years old, 9th and 10th graders. It's about 40 of them, because it's just a percentage of them. And our numbers go into the whole world database on where everybody sits in the entire world in this particular thing. Never heard of it before. So it'll be interesting to see when we can get some data back and see what it really is all about. Really want to thank the FFA for everything they do. They do amazing work. They're all over doing stuff and supporting all that we do. And thank Mr. Wilson, because everything she talked about, not all of them without all of them, but he is. And so it's really cool that he is present and supports kids. Last week they were at State FFA in Pullman and had a lot of fun. And so I really want to thank them for that. Also, I want to thank the board, because there's an awful lot of tough stuff you guys deal with all the time. You know, we have the levy, we have a lot of things that we're doing. A lot of times, a lot of people like to say, be more negative, and sometimes we just have to realize that people just need to be nice. And so I appreciate everything you guys do and all the time you put in and volunteer for the kids, the staff, and everything to try to make this the best that we can. We have graduation on May 31st, not April, at 9 a.m. And so you guys are all invited. And once again, it'll be packed and full. And we have, I think, a pretty good graduation ceremony that goes through pretty quick and so forth. We're really excited about it. Spring sports are still going for us. Congratulations to Heidi and the softball team for already making it to state last week. They qualified by going to the championship at the district tournament. They'll be playing this Saturday at 3:30 in Yakima at Kiwanis Park. So if you have time this weekend, it'd be great to see you guys out there. But we have tennis, we have track, and we still have girls softball doing all those activities right now. So other than that, it's just always crazy end of the year, all evaluations, everything you have to do. And I really want to thank you all for everything you do. So you guys have any questions for me? Perfect.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Henry. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Item A, policy 6214, food and beverages, second reading, Mr. Peterson.
Just the second reading for policy 6214. And again, as a reminder, this is simply a management policy that authorizes the district to put forth procedures as to how much we spend and purposes behind purchasing food for staff functions, whether that be teachers' events, principals' events, anything like that. That basically ensures that we're doing the conduct, or we're doing the business of the district in exchange for that. So second reading, if anybody has any questions, if they don't, then we'll bring it back for a third and adoption the next board meeting.
Great. Any comments or questions on 6214? All right, we'll move on to item B, budget update, Mr. Peterson.
I'm gonna invite Mr. Hassel to kick me under the table or to interject at any time. And unfortunately, Mona couldn't be here this evening because she's out ill or whole family is sick. Long story short, we have been diligent in trying to make budget cuts to get us to $1.5 million, which was the target. And the last time that we met, we were at, and John, being an accountant, was very, he said this was very important. It was $1.498 million in projected cuts for the coming year. So even though that we've gotten that far, we are still identifying areas where we can pinch some pennies and continue to add to that total, because the more that we are able to delay any of our spending is going to turn into savings in the long run. You know, the times that this state is in, not just our district, quite frankly, we're not even, if you read the Tri-City Herald, we're not even the lowest ranked fiscal district in the region, much less the entire state. We have a local district who has gone and made the next step beyond binding conditions and has joined Marysville School District in being under OSPI authority. So now there are two. And we'll have some more information during the next bullet on the agenda. However, we feel confident that making the savings now will in turn be reflected in years to come. John, I don't know if you have anything to add or not, and don't feel like you need to, but I want to give you the opportunity.
Not that I can think of. I mean, we've been looking at the budget and places we can cut things, but I still have a few ideas of trying to limit some of that spending. But you know, I'm at the start of week 4, so I'm still trying to learn as much as I can before I start speaking to that too much.
Well, appreciate you being a quick study, just needed. So, with the 1.498, where does that leave our cushion?
If I had to give you a hard and fast number, I think we're going to be in the 1.5% range come to the end of this fiscal year, which is lower, quite frankly, than it had been when we had the same discussion in February.
Great. Well, I appreciate that update. Any other comments or questions on the budget? All right, we'll move on to item C, audit update.
Yeah, so we just finished today at 4 o'clock. We had a meeting with the state auditors. Mr. Skipper was a representative from the school board. John, Mona, and myself were in the meeting, and I'm very pleased to say that we got a very clean audit this year. No findings, a management letter with some very specific items of things that we can fix for next year, and some recommendations. But the auditors repeatedly told us how happy they were that it was a clean audit. No, what was the term? No
material issues.
No material issues. Thank you. Which is, quite frankly, that's the bar that we want to set at. That's always going to be the goal. So I was very happy. We're going to get the formal results, and then we will post those on our website with our other audit reports. But overall, I think Mona Van Halbeck especially deserves some kudos, because I think we literally had the entry meeting and then drew resigned and went to the ESD. And so Mona was left to quite frankly, help me out in a big way, being able to provide the necessary information to the state. And there were more than a few times that the state auditor would call or email both of us, hoping one of us would get the message in the time frame needed. But she did really yeoman's work as far as this audit goes, and I think that shows in our results. And John, again, I'd invite you if you'd like anything.
Just from a financial aspect and coming from an internal audit team and being involved in a lot of different audits and reading a lot of different audit reports. That report that we got from the state in the meeting that we had made me extremely happy. You know, I know we've got some issues that we're working on, as does everybody else in the state and honestly in a lot of different places in the country. But having an audit, a financial audit that clean is extremely impressive to me. So I think we're in a good spot. It actually makes me even more excited to be here. So kudos to everybody involved in that, because that's clean. That's a very good thing.
As in also former auditor, I was pleased with the audit report. So yeah, and you know, I was looking at the materials they sent right before the meeting, and I was you know, hold my breath a little bit, and then got to relax quite easily with the results. So it was great to see, and I appreciate all the efforts the staff in completing that audit and all the work that went in throughout the year. It's not just gathering the materials, but it's doing a good job throughout the year. And so definitely appreciate that. Any other comments or questions on the audit update? And you already mentioned that'll be on the website.
Right.
Do you know the timing on that?
I think you were still online, they email us the final report.
Yeah.
And once we get that, we'll get it in the right format and get it on the web.
Great. All right. Any pressing audit questions?
No, good to hear that it was clean and things like for you started though.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Item 9A, minutes from 4/28/25. Seeking approval. Any comments or questions on this? I know, Dan, I believe you were absent, so you are welcome to abstain from this. Any comments or questions on the minutes? All right, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes from 4/28/25.
I would motion to approve the minutes from 4/28/25.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right. Now item 9B, CTE district-wide 4-year plan approval, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to invite Keely Gant to the podium. Keely, as you are all aware, is the small school CTE director for town of Benton City, Burbank, Findlay, and Dayton this year. And she has a 4-year plan that, and it looks like she's giving out toys as well.
Thank you.
I have enough.
I think we got him.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I think hopefully you got the big long document that was in your packet. So I think we had given that to you. So I'm going to condense it because actually that big district-wide plan, what that does, that comes from all of our different program areas provide us their 4-year plan. And then we merge all of those together, which is what you got in your district-wide plan. And then I merged all of that together and we kind of condensed that into something that's more presentable because that would be really long and lengthy and it would bore everyone to death if I had you go through that big, long, extensive program. And then really OSPI even gives us a more detailed, where some of those categories that you saw that were kind of condensed and lumped, they even have us break that down even further. So I just kind of wanted to share with you a little bit like what we've discussed within our plan moving forward. So again, this year we were fortunate with Bruce, we were able to bring CTE into our middle school. So this is really kind of who we've been working together as a group to kind of talk about where we see CTE going in the district. And so this has kind of been our administrative team mostly. And I think we can move the slide, hopefully. So just kind of wanted to share out some of the highlights this year. So one of the things that we've been really fortunate with is This year, we applied for 7 CTE grants, so through OSPI, we applied for 7. And this does not normally happen to me with OSPI. But we were really fortunate to actually be awarded all 7 that we applied for, so we were really thrilled about that. We are not usually that fortunate. But together we were able to get $79,468 in grant awards within the CTE programs. So really fortunate for that. It's probably too much information right there, but I gave you all of our different grant numbers and kind of really where we were intending to spend that money. We're still working through that because it's really hard in a small school to be able to kind of spend that down, spreading out over a length of time. One of the things that OSPI likes to challenge us with is some of these grants aren't actually due until December, January, and they don't really tell us necessarily whether we get that grant until January, February. But yet it's for the whole academic year, which half of it is already gone. So it makes it really hard and really challenging for us, but the majority of these funds, we always try to send our teachers like Micah or any one of our CTE teachers to professional development. We really feel that it's important to try to get them to a conference, a state conference, that's going to give them the most relevant, updated information about the technology, what's going on in their field, what's some best practices in regards to their instruction, because that's what's really going to be able to allow them to bring it back into the classroom. So whether it's something that they're going to learn about new equipment, new technology, what's going on in their world, that's the only way we can get them back out to industry, is to get them to those conferences. So that's really important for us to be able to do that. So we use some of that. Dual credit, that grant, this kind of new this year. We were really fortunate with that award because what we're going to be able to do is to support some of our teachers that are actually basic ed teachers and be able to support some professional development for those teachers in order to get them CTE certified if they're eligible to go back to more training so that we can be able to embed them into career and technical ed. So even if only for a few sections of courses, but if we can, we're going to be able to pull them into CTE and be able to use them both ways. So adding some versatility to their background. So that's for the most part some of our program highlights with our grants. If you have more questions, I can certainly answer those, but that's sort of a rough, quick detail. Next slide. This is a huge one and hence why we gave you all the cool little trucks. And so I'm really happy that Micah was able to stay. For those of you that don't know, Micah's already been driving trucks, but Micah spent an entire summer with Walla Walla Community College. So he spent a lot of time working this summer with Walla Walla and the instructors down there, getting the program prepped and ready so that we could offer this. I had brought this program, well, I didn't bring the program, I shouldn't say that, but North Franklin had started this program. And we were able to build this program out at North Franklin School District. It was the very first program in the state of Washington to approve a CDL prep program. And I think maybe to my knowledge, you might have been second or third, you're kind of right in there. There was a few schools that kind of brought it in right after. But what we've been able to build out is a program where the students in their senior year will take a CDL prep class. It's 90 hours. They take the lecture. It's where they get all of that, the pre-trip inspection work. They will get all of the knowledge necessary in order to pass their test, the written test for their permit. And then as they turn 18, well, we'll get there, but they'll be able to start working in their drive time. But right now, those kids can actually earn 8 credits towards 15 credit certificate program at Walla Walla. Those 8 credits out of that 15 are free of charge. The latter half of that, we have a program where those students will be eligible for a free $2,000 tuition assistance at Walla Walla. So right after the summer, they can transition to Walla Walla and have that $2,000 tuition assistance applied. If any of the students qualify from OIC of Washington, which have already been in Micah's classroom, looking at those students and who have qualified, we're actually matching those students up with kind of a one-on-one with representatives from OIC. They can get all of that remaining funding paid for free if they qualify. So typically, if they come from a farm family or a farm working background, they will qualify, which makes that entire pathway for a student to get their CDL free of charge, no cost to the student. We were really fortunate this year. Walla Walla actually donated a truck for us. So we're excited to have a Freightliner sitting in the back of Micah's shop. So the kids are really cool. I pulled in one day and I saw like 4 heads popping out of the window back there. And they're all honking and waving back there, so that was pretty cool, and they were all studying with their sheets of paper. So that's been pretty awesome. And then we just recently had Foster Memorial Health on their occupational division, the PAC there, Meg Robinson, she was super excited, and they donated all of the DOT physicals free of charge. So if you think about that, that's $200 a student that they were more than happy to donate. And we're excited to continue that and really keep on growing this program. And we're really hoping that we can get more industry sponsorships involved in what we're doing. So we'll keep on working at that, but excited with where that's going. And then we'll move to the next slide. And then just wanted to highlight again, we were really fortunate to be able to move CTE into the middle school this year. So excited with hiring Stephanie Hogan. So brand new, this poor woman, we really threw it at her. So she was a brand new teacher. We hired her, and not only is she a brand new teacher that we put into the CTE Plan 2 program, so she got to learn that, but then on top of that, we gave her a brand new curriculum. And then just before school, we also threw her right at going to the training to learn this brand new curriculum. And this curriculum is also very challenging in the fact that it's super cool. We worked with the Washington STEM and the Nexus Foundation, which helped us to fund some of these kits. But they're very, very hands-on, and kids are kind of paired off. So you can imagine in this classroom that kids are off in 2 paired units all over the classroom. And so she's juggling all sorts of things that are going on constant. So it's like an organized chaos. And you have to be extremely flexible teacher, and she's been able to do that. And so we're really looking forward to seeing how this grows. We're moving it. We've kind of had some conversations. We're going to move that class up into the 8th grade. And move some of our computer literacy coursework down into the 7th, better help those students prepare for that 8th grade class. And then be able to use that 8th grade class tied to their high school and beyond plan to really help our kids kind of start figuring out some of the pathways with what are the options in high school, kind of as our stepping stone to where they might be able to lead off with, and kind of use that as an advising tool. So we're excited about that. And we're offering a little bit more coursework down in the middle school around CTE. So excited with where that goes. And I'll move to the next slide real fast for the sake of time. And I'm talking kind of fast. I just wanted to really share with you guys too. I asked the teachers this year a little bit different. It's not necessarily in the 4-year plan, but I wanted to kind of just hear what they thought. Like, what were some of the teachers' boasts and brags this year? And what were they most proud of? So I think, and I had kind of, I shortened this. I asked all of them for 3. So like with Michael, I'll use this as an example. But again, just the value of that CDL prep class, just really seeing the value of what this can do for our students in this particular community. It's really allowing these kids a high wage, high demand job that they can get right out of school. In his class already, all of his kids have gotten their first aid CPR card already as well. We're looking at forklift. So these are like multiple certifications all within 1 semester class that these students are getting. So highly valued work they're able to do. Biomed, Clark, I know he's retiring, but like he just got back, and my font, sorry about that. But he just got back from taking his health club over to Seattle, and they spent the entire weekend at UW and being able to go all over the different medical facilities and see what was going on there. Carrie, they took their brand new FBLA members. They'd never participated in FBLA at all. And they competed at regionals, qualified for state, and 1 came away already with placing in the top 12 in 2 different categories. So pretty impressive for a student who had never even participated in FBLA before. And then in family and consumer science, we had 100 of the students in Creative Foods earned their food handlers. So OSPI, one of the things that we really focus on in CTE again is really trying to get our students industry certifications. We want to increase their employability skills in what they're doing. And so we're really proud of the fact that, again, with one of our grants, we were able to help support that cost outside the school district where we could get our students bloodborne pathogen certifications, first aid CPR, food handlers, things that kids can put on a resume that can help their employability skills outside of what they do beyond what they're doing here at Kayona Benton. Tech ed, again, David loved 8th grade kids. It was funny, when we first asked him to do that, he did not want to teach the 8th grade class. And now he's so funny, he loves it. And what I love to crack up about it the best is that his favorite student well, not his favorite, but one of, and I use that as my brag because her name is Keely. Doesn't spell it like I do. But he was really proud of the fact of some of the things that she's challenged herself with and what she's been able to accomplish this year in the 8th grade class. And so he just loves seeing what these 8th grade kids have taken on, and he's super proud. He had a foreign exchange student, and the stuff that she's been able to create and the bowls that she's made and what she's gonna be able to take home to her family. He's super proud of that fact. And then Stephanie, I think it just goes beyond without saying, what she took on this year as a brand new teacher is huge. And to have the mindset to be able to take that on, I'm a type A type of person that would have freaked me out. So for her to take on not only just the classwork itself, that type of a class and the way that that lab is set up. And then to be able to take on totally new curriculum that not all of us knew anything about and learn it on the fly while we're all going. And being adaptable, I think that just speaks wonders of a teacher. And so really excited about where that's headed as well. And then we'll go to the next slide. And I think this speaks for all of our teachers. They all kind of came back as far as when I asked them what their goals were for the next 3 years, they all kind of came back with some type of feedback that came back in one of these areas. So our long range goals within CTE, we really want to increase and continue to increase. We see this post-COVID. We really want to get students engaged again back in what we're doing in our CTSOs. You heard from our FFA group. We talked about FBLA, but just hearing how many activities and what they're doing, we want to continue this work. We want to continue to see our kids being involved outside of school. We want to see them engaged in these activities and the things that they're doing and the leadership that they're developing from it. So we want to continue that. So whether it's an actual CTSO or whether it's a equivalency club, but we want to continue to see those kids being engaged, learning those leadership skills, the work relevant skills. We want to expand and look into our credit equivalencies. So where else can kids, so if you're in CTE, can you get an art credit? Can you get a math credit? Can you get a 3rd credit English credit? How else can we use these courses in a dual equivalency way? And so we're really looking at that. Where can we use it? We already have several CTE classes that we're taking advantage of that now. But I think we have opportunities where we can sorry, I'm out this dry and I'm trying to be in a hurry. But we added like the business communications class this year. So that's another class that can actually add an English equivalency to it. So as we're looking at adding CTE, we're really looking hard at where can those equivalencies fit so that we can take advantage on both worlds. And then again, really diversifying our CTE advisory committee. We really want to see more business and industry partners involved in what we're doing. We know it's important to our kids because of employability, but we also know it's important to our teachers because it brings back industry into what we're doing. But it adds voice and it adds direction into our jobs and into our teaching and what we're doing there. And we're really looking for opportunities for our kids to, again, get that work experience. So whether it's job shadows, tours, guest speakers, we've asked them to come in and help co-teach in our classes. And then again, just taking advantage of any experiences and relationships we can with our business and industry partners. So that's really kind of where we're headed. And next slide. And these are just some photos. I just always think it's really nice to be able to see the kids and what they're doing. So again, there are some pictures up above from business and marketing when they took those students to FBLA. The very bottom, you can see these are the photo on the very right where the students laying on the floor. That was criminalistics. That was one of the units that Stephanie had. And then on the far left was an energy and power. And they had little mouse kit cars. And they were out in the hallway racing them. And she said it was great because some of the kids actually took it. Kids actually took those and they kind of went beyond just what was learning in classroom, and they were having competitions to figure out what else they could do beyond what was in classroom to figure out how they could make them go even faster. And then you'll see up in those pictures, that's in Jennifer Kinnисon's creative foods classes. And they were learning about royal frosting. So that's great with the cookies and stuff. And so she actually has an outside guest speaker come in and talk about the business and help with that. And then we'll go to the next slide. Got quite a few here. So Project Lead the Way up in the top. So in the biomed classes, they go through the entire year with a case study where they learn about Anna Garcia. And you talk about, start out learning about why she had passed away. You learn about different scenarios with her health, heart disease, sickle cell anemia. And then towards the end, you'll figure out like why she actually passed away. But they go through all sorts of biomed learning through that, and it's really relevant for them, and they can actually see the reasoning behind things, and so, again, project-based learning, so. And then you'll see a picture up there with the welding for Apprentice 101. So we had an apprenticeship day. This was the first one I ever offered in the Tri-Cities. We were able to take advantage of that. So Micah and David Lake took students on a trip down. It was great. We got to go to 3 different places. I think it was electrical, sheet metal, and what am I missing?
598.
598, yep. And so we were able to take students that whole day. We rotated. It was great. It was the first time they've ever offered it. Our kids loved it. On that Friday night, they opened up all 3 different union halls and they had a parent orientation night. It was one of the best things I think they've done in a long time. Usually they'll come in and just do a one-on-one in the classroom. It's just not as much relevant. But I mean, the kids were bending rod and they actually got to have their hands in stuff and see the union hall. So hoping they'll do that again this year. You have a picture up there. That's when Michael was able to take the kids down. And they got their DOT physicals done for free. And then this is the new truck that Walla Walla was able to gift us with. And so we just got the title and registration and licensing done. So we're excited about that. And then in the bottom, with the chessboard, this was a student in Lake's class that had just finished that. This was one of the trainings he had just gone to. So this is an underwater robot. So this is kind of cool. And then this is a new CAD machine that tracks. These look like little domino strips. And it can track and program based off of those little domino strips. So this is super cool. And then this was another one of his trainings that they had gone to. And those were some little fish that they had drawn. And they had some whales and some other really cool artwork that was done. So those are real quick photos, but there's just, oh, and then underneath there, you'll see that Micah's got the golf cart and there's a, behind him, there's a trailer and then the little cones. And so it's amazing. We've actually gotten feedback from our instructors down in Walla Walla. It sounds funny, but if you can back a golf cart with that squirrely trailer back there, it's amazing how good those kids get in driving a big truck. Because if you can drive something that little and that squirrely, you can drive a big truck back through stuff. So they actually have given us feedback that they love that we're doing that. Because he said that they're finding out that by the time our kids are transitioning to them, they're actually much more successful than most of the people that are coming into their program. So anyways, those are just quick highlights. So there's a ton more in that document. I tried to talk fast and get through it, but there's a ton more there. Do you guys have any questions for me? Where we're headed?
Well, I just want to note that this is all really exciting. I'm really proud of the work that you're doing and all of our teachers and all the staff making this happen. It's like really, really exciting and cool for our students. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's definitely a privilege, and I can honestly say, I mean, the whole team from middle school all the way through high school has been great. They've been very, very supportive. Administration's been very supportive, but honestly, it's the teachers who put in a lot of these hours, and they're putting in a lot of hours for the leadership and what they're doing beyond outside of classroom. It's the teachers who put in a lot of work behind a lot of this. So, yeah.
I want to say too, just as a parent of a student in the class, that it brings excitement to students, which is really what we want. We really want to see kids wanting to do these programs, and that's all my son talks about. So it's definitely, I'm glad that this is something that we're bringing to our school and that it's been so successful.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I think it was fun just even asking that question of the teachers, because I haven't done that before, but I think like, it's just fun to hear from them, like what their passion is. And it clearly came out in their response as well. And that's what I see. So like if I'm in the district and when I'm in the district or in the classrooms, that's what I see with the teachers. They're passionate about what they do. They love what they do. And I think it comes out in their teaching, and I hope that it comes out to your students. And I hope that's what we continue to do. And that's our goal with where we see CTE in your district from middle school all the way through high school. And we want to tie it to your high school and beyond plan because that's really where we see it. So hopefully we can keep on growing it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we need an approval on the district-wide four-year plan. Any comments or questions?
Good stuff.
It really is.
Great. Do we need a roll call on this one or?
I will move to approve the CT district by 4-year plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Yep. All right. Moving on to item C, 25-26 school year calendar, Mr. Peterson.
Yep, and once again, just want to reiterate that through an error that I made, we forwarded a calendar that shows the wrong spring break. The spring break that I'm asking you to approve, the rest of the calendar has been done for quite some time, but we finally got to the spring break issue. It is April 6th through the 10th, the first full week of April. And that is something that actually has been codified in at least one CBA that we're going to make a move to get us to the first full week of April as a standard practice.
Yep. Any comments or questions on the district calendar?
The 25-26 school year calendar.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to board comments. I'll just start by saying, first off, I had the opportunity to sit in on some interviews for a head basketball coach. So that was always great to meet some members of the community and talk about what our goals are for our program and our students. And I said before that sports aren't just an activity, it's something that teaches a lot of life skills. And we talked about just showing up on time, the importance of practice and importance of hard work, listening to the coaches, having a good attitude, how to win well, how to lose well, all those things. So I really appreciate the opportunity to search for a coach that will help lead our program. And then second, one of just to say the small joys of being able to be in the chair. So I look forward to one of you wanting to do this, because you get to sign all of the diplomas. And I'll say I wish I had as nice a signature as Mr. Henry and Mr. Peterson. Mine's very ugly, but it's fun to do that, just see all the accomplishments as you're going through and seeing all the students' names. So that's one of the small pleasures of doing it. So got to do that for my second time. Please.
That's real important to me as it's the expectations. That they expect from their and also understand what they expect from the school. And really good. Also, I was wondering, do we have a coach who gets that information out to the district other than word of mouth, talking about how some of those programs that were really good, and that just helps build confidence for things like that. Not only that, expectations that a parent gets when they talk with the school about their student. Do you have any kind of flyer or anything like that about stuff? Some of the stuff I was hearing really is neat stuff.
I think the primary way that most of our programming gets out there is through social media now. I remember having this conversation with John when he came on board. We spent to send a single mailing to every person in the district is well over $7,000. We used to do that 4 times a year and highlight things like that, but it's just not feasible. So we rely on social media, we rely on our communications people at the ESD to get that information out there. And quite frankly, some of our teachers are getting so adept at being able to push things out on Parent Square that they're getting it out there well before even our communications people know about it. So I think this has been a transition year as far as Parent Square is gone, with our just being our first year. I have no doubts within a couple of years that you're probably going to hear about things well before the official ways of getting it out there happen.
It's very
Yep.
same time, we have the responsibility, which is not only important, helping prepare those individuals. Like.
Yep.
It's good, any feedback, yeah. To improve that process.
Great. Any other board comments?
Just one quick one. Thank Ms. Ruby Davis for inviting me. I know Teddy couldn't make it, but this was my second year in participating in the Mother's Day Tea, and it was extremely enjoyable. And the exuberance that she gets from the kids and the attentiveness does not go unnoticed at how well that class runs. And it was a pleasure to be there, and I was glad that I got to participate.
Great. But dads and donuts on my calendar for next Friday. All right, with that, we'll move into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, section 1G, performance of a public employee for 30 minutes with no business to follow. So we will be adjourned. Thank you all for attending.